women, any woman in any profession, who stands up to tell the truth. I revere the people who do this because I am not a naturally brave person.
Have you ever wondered what made Meryl Streep extraordinary? A cinematic legend with over 50 years of tireless dedication, 3 Academy Awards, and a career millions can only dream of. Yet, to reach such heights, she had to confront countless harsh challenges that few could endure. These included immense losses, heartbreaking pain, and moments when life itself seemed to shatter into a million pieces. It was precisely in those moments of utter despair that Meryl Streep discovered a remarkable source of strength, something she defined as courage. It was not something she was born with, but rather forged through every scar, every heartache. What forged her remarkable resilience and extraordinary courage? To find the answer, we must go back to the very beginning when Meryl Streep was just a young girl, growing up in a life as ordinary as anyone else's. From an ordinary girl to an extraordinary woman. Before she became a global legend, she was a young woman who felt a quiet but persistent urge to break free from the monotony of her everyday life. Mary Louise Meryl Streep was born on June 22, 1949, in Summit, New Jersey, into a typical American middle-class family that provided her with a stable and comfortable upbringing. Her father, Harry William Streep, Jr., was a pharmaceutical executive, while her mother, Mary Wolfe Wilkinson, worked as a commercial artist and art editor. Along with her 2 younger brothers, Dana and Harry, she grew up in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, in a life that was perfectly adequate but lacked any sense of excitement or distinction. For a young Meryl, this feeling of being just another face in the crowd created a quiet but persistent desire to be different. This internal push to become someone special began to take shape when she was 12 years old. Feeling that she needed to excel at something to set herself apart, Meryl began to take formal vocal lessons with a renowned opera coach in New York named Estelle Liebling. She pursued these lessons for 4 years, driven not just by a love for music, but by a powerful need to escape the feeling of being unremarkable. This was her first deliberate step toward building an identity that was entirely her own. Her path became clearer when she attended Bernard's High School, where she decided to try acting for the first time by joining the school's production of The Family Upstairs. A surprising thing happened when she stepped onto the stage. Instead of feeling nervous or exposed, she felt a sense of relief and freedom that was missing from her real life. She discovered that inhabiting another character, speaking words written by someone else, and living inside a different story was incredibly liberating, and it was in that moment that she realized she had found a place where her soul truly belonged. After graduating from high school, Meryl enrolled at Vassar College in 1967, though her professional direction was not yet certain, as she initially planned to major in costume design. A pivotal moment occurred when her drama professor, Clinton Atkinson, recognized a unique talent in her and strongly encouraged her to audition for the lead role in the play Miss Julie. Her performance in that complex and demanding role was so powerful that it received widespread praise and completely altered her academic and professional ambitions. From that point on, she knew she had to pursue acting with all her focus. Following her graduation from Vassar, her talent was noticed by a representative from the highly prestigious Yale School of Drama, who invited her to apply for their Master of Fine Arts program. She was accepted, but her time at Yale was not defined by immediate stardom. In fact, among her talented peers, Meryl was not considered a standout student, and she was often described by her professors as being too quiet, too introspective, and lacking the fiery stage presence they expected. While other students were busy trying to make a big impression, Meryl was quietly absorbing everything around her, and working harder than anyone else. She spent countless hours in the library, deconstructing scripts and analyzing characters, not to seek attention, but to achieve a deep understanding of her craft. At that time, no one who saw this quiet, unassuming young woman could have imagined that she would one day become the queen of cinema. and perhaps even she did not fully grasp the extent of her own potential. From her simple childhood, Meryl Streep learned how to transform her silence into a powerful tool, a lesson in inner strength and keen observation that would serve as the foundation for her entire extraordinary career in the years that followed. The first and most shattering heartbreak. In 1976, a 27-year-old Meryl Streep was auditioning for a Shakespeare in the Park production in New York City, which is where she met the actor John Cazale. John was 14 years older than her and was already a highly respected figure in the film industry, known for his unforgettable roles in classic films like The Godfather and Dog Day Afternoon. There was an immediate and powerful connection between them, and they quickly fell deeply in love. They moved in together, sharing a simple apartment in the Tribeca neighborhood of Manhattan, building a life centered on their mutual passion for art and their deep respect for each other's talent. As their relationship deepened, Meryl's career began to gain momentum, but their happiness was tragically cut short. In 1977, while Meryl and John were both filming the movie The Deer Hunter, John began to feel unwell. After a series of medical tests, he received a devastating diagnosis. He had terminal lung cancer that had already spread to his bones. The news was a crushing blow to Meryl. The studio executives behind The Deer Hunter wanted to remove John from the film, worried about the high cost of insurance and the possibility that he wouldn't be able to finish his scenes. In a desperate act of love and loyalty, Meryl pleaded with the director, Michael Cimino, to keep John in the movie, even threatening to quit her own role if they replaced him. Her determination worked, and the director rearranged the entire shooting schedule to film all of John's scenes first. Throughout this incredibly difficult period, Meryl remained by John's side, providing constant care and support. She accepted a role in the television miniseries Holocaust, which required her to fly to Austria for filming, primarily because she urgently needed the money to pay for John's growing medical bills. She was physically and emotionally exhausted, flying back and forth between continents to be with him, but her love for him gave her the strength to endure. By March of 1978, John's condition had worsened significantly, and he was admitted to the hospital. On March 13, 1978, at the age of 42, John Cazale passed away with Meryl right there beside him. In her profound grief, as the doctor confirmed he was gone, she collapsed onto his chest, crying and pleading, "Please come back." In the midst of this overwhelming personal pain, her professional career began to explode in a way no one could have predicted. The Deer Hunter was released later that year, and although her role was relatively small, her performance was so memorable that it earned her her very first Academy Award nomination. Just 1 year later, still grappling with the fresh pain of her loss, she began filming Kramer vs. Kramer. The film's director, Robert Benton, and her co-star, Dustin Hoffman, used her real-life sorrow to elicit a more powerful performance. In one famous scene, Hoffman unexpectedly slapped her across the face, an action that was not in the script, and her shocked, pained reaction captured on film was entirely real. Her portrayal of a woman leaving her husband and fighting for custody of her son was so raw and convincing that it earned her her first Academy Award. In 1982, she took on the incredibly demanding role of Sophie in Sophie's Choice, a character who was a survivor of the Auschwitz concentration camp. To prepare for the part, Meryl dedicated herself completely, learning to speak both German and Polish fluently, and choosing to live in isolation for a month to better understand her character's deep sense of loneliness and trauma. Her performance was a masterpiece of acting that stunned the world and won her her second Academy Award, this time for Best Actress. Each of these early major roles became a way for her to process her grief over John, and with each performance, she seemed to re-emerge, stronger and more powerful than before. She had learned to channel her own immense pain into an extraordinary artistic force, laying the groundwork for a career that would become legendary. The Great Reinvention and a career renewed. By the end of the 1980s, Meryl Streep was already an established star, celebrated for her technical skill and her powerful performances in serious dramas like Out of Africa, and A Cry in the Dark. However, she soon faced a new professional challenge as critics and audiences began to typecast her. A common criticism emerged that her acting was technically perfect but emotionally cold, and she found herself being boxed in as an actress who could only perform in heavy, serious films. Realizing that this perception could limit her future, she understood that she needed to make a change to demonstrate her full range. Entering the 1990s, Meryl Streep embarked on a deliberate and brilliant reinvention of her career by actively seeking out roles that were completely different from anything she had done before. In 1990, she starred in the comedy drama Postcards from the Edge, where she played a recovering drug-addicted actress with wit and vulnerability. 2 years later, she surprised everyone by appearing in the dark fantasy comedy Death Becomes Her, a highly stylized film that showcased her comedic timing. Then, in 1994, she ventured into the action genre with The River Wild, in which she performed many of her own dangerous stunts. These bold choices successfully shattered the public's perception of her as a purely dramatic actress and proved that her talent knew no genre boundaries. A significant moment in this reinvention came in 1995 when she starred opposite Clint Eastwood in The Bridges of Madison County. Her portrayal of Francesca, a lonely Iowa housewife who experiences a brief but life-altering love affair, was filled with such genuine emotion and quiet heartbreak that it resonated deeply with millions of viewers. This performance effectively silenced any remaining critics who had ever called her acting cold and earned her a 10th Academy Award nomination, reaffirming her status as a master of emotional depth. As she entered the 21st century, an age when many actresses of her generation found it increasingly difficult to find substantial roles, Meryl Streep's career only continued to flourish and reach new heights. She consistently delivered iconic performances that became cultural touchstones. In 2006, at the age of 57, she transformed into the formidable and stylish Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada, a role that became an instant classic. In 2008, she revealed her joyful, musical side in the global box office hit Mamma Mia, singing and dancing her way into the hearts of a new generation of fans. Her incredible versatility was on full display in 2011, when she took on the monumental challenge of portraying former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher in The Iron Lady. She meticulously captured Thatcher's voice, posture, and commanding presence, a transformative performance that earned her her 3rd Academy Award. Her string of acclaimed roles continued, with her 18th nomination for August Osage County, her 20th for Florence Foster Jenkins, and her 21st for The Post, which solidified her record as the most nominated actor in the history of the Academy Awards. Through all these characters, it was clear that she wasn't just acting a part. She was often channeling pieces of her own life's pain into her art, whether it was the grief of a mother, the longing of a woman for love, or the loneliness of a powerful leader. At the ages of 57, 60, and 70, she wasn't getting older in her career. She was simply changing her outer shell to continue exploring and healing the old wounds within. Her career stands as a powerful testament to her incredible resilience and her unmatched ability to constantly reinvent herself. A Quiet Love and a Silent Farewell. In the aftermath of John Cazale's death in 1978, Meryl Streep was left completely heartbroken and was forced to move out of the apartment they had shared. Her brother, Harry, came to help her pack, and he brought along his friend, Don Gummer, a sculptor. Seeing her distress, Don offered Meryl his own art studio as a temporary place to stay while he was traveling. During the time he was away, they began to communicate through letters, and this correspondence slowly built a connection between them. Don entered her life not as a fiery romance, but as a quiet, steady hand that offered her stability and peace when she was lost in darkness. Just 6 months after John's passing, on September 30th, 1978, Meryl and Don were married in a small, private ceremony held in the garden of her parents' home in Connecticut. Her decision to remarry so quickly surprised many people. But for Meryl, it was a necessary step toward finding a way to live again. Together, they built a strong and private family life, raising 4 children: a son, Henry, and 3 daughters, Mamie, Grace, and Louisa. To give their children a normal childhood, Meryl and Don made the deliberate choice to live in Connecticut, far away from the intense media spotlight of Los Angeles. For over 40 years, their marriage was seen as a rare example of quiet stability in the often turbulent world of Hollywood. Don frequently accompanied Meryl to award shows and events, but he always remained in the background, a silent and supportive presence. Her deep love and gratitude for him were made clear to the world in 2012 when she won her 3rd Oscar for The Iron Lady. In her acceptance speech, she began by thanking him first, explaining, "Because I want him to know that everything I value most in our lives, you've given me." Their life together was marked by a calm steadiness, free from drama or public scandal. This made the news that came in October 2023 all the more surprising. A representative for Meryl Streep released a statement announcing that she and Don had been separated for more than 6 years. They had been living separate lives since 2017, but they had managed to keep this information entirely private. There was no scandal, no public conflict, and no bitter words exchanged. The announcement simply stated that while they would always care for each other, they had chosen different paths. Even after the news became public, Meryl was often seen still wearing her wedding ring. Their quiet separation, after more than 4 decades together, was a sad but respectful conclusion to their love story, reflecting the same privacy and dignity with which they had lived their entire life together. Weathering the Hollywood storms. Despite her esteemed reputation and carefully guarded private life, not even Meryl Streep could remain entirely untouched by the controversies and storms that periodically sweep through Hollywood. The most significant of these challenges came in October 2017, when the scandal surrounding producer Harvey Weinstein erupted, igniting the global hashtag #MeToo movement. Weinstein had been a powerful figure who had produced several of Meryl's films, including the one that won her a 3rd Oscar. When the allegations against him became public, Meryl was quick to release a statement denouncing his behavior as disgraceful and inexcusable. However, her condemnation was not enough for some. Actress Rose McGowan, one of Weinstein's most vocal accusers, publicly criticized Meryl on social media, suggesting that the silence of powerful women like her over the years had enabled Weinstein's behavior. The criticism intensified when anonymous posters began putting up signs across Los Angeles featuring a photo of Meryl and Weinstein, with a red bar across her eyes that read, "She knew." In response to this public attack, Meryl was forced to issue a longer, more detailed statement in which she firmly denied having any knowledge of Weinstein's crimes. She explained that his abuse was not something he did in front of everyone, and she insisted she had never been aware of his horrific actions. Another, less severe controversy occurred earlier that same year, just before the Academy Awards. The famous fashion designer Karl Lagerfeld publicly claimed that Meryl had decided not to wear a Chanel gown to the ceremony because another brand had offered to pay her to wear their dress. He called her a genius actress, but cheap too. Meryl's representatives immediately denied the story, calling it a complete fabrication. Faced with a firm denial, Karl Lagerfeld eventually issued a public apology, admitting that he had misunderstood the situation and was wrong. These incidents showed that even an actress of Meryl Streep's stature was not immune to the harsh realities of Hollywood, a world where silence can be misinterpreted as complicity and where a hard-won reputation can be challenged at any moment. Through it all, she faced the storms with her characteristic composure, defending herself clearly and calmly before returning her focus to her work. The eternal flame of a lasting legacy. Today, Meryl Streep's career has spanned more than 5 decades, during which she has appeared in over 70 films and has never gone a single year without working on a project. Her record-breaking 21 Academy Award nominations and 32 Golden Globe nominations are statistics that no other actor has come close to achieving, but her true legacy extends far beyond awards and numbers. In 2014, when presenting her with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, President Barack Obama summarized her impact perfectly, saying, "She does it all. She sings, she dances, she does drama, she breaks our hearts, and she makes us laugh." Meryl is one of America's leading ladies who truly turns empathy into a powerful force. Now in her 70s, the creative fire within her continues to burn brightly, and she shows no intention of slowing down. She has recently taken on roles in the popular television series Only Murders in the Building, and she continues to be an active and vital presence in the entertainment industry. In her personal life, following the public announcement of her separation, she has maintained her commitment to privacy and simplicity. She avoids the media spotlight whenever possible, choosing instead to focus her time and energy on her family, especially her grandchildren. Meryl Streep has never wanted to be an untouchable statue on a pedestal. She has always simply wanted to be a working actor who continues to practice her craft, even if her heart has had to endure silent sorrows. She has weathered tragedies that could have easily broken anyone, from the devastating loss of her first love to the quiet end of a long marriage and the sting of public criticism. Yet, she has taken all the broken pieces of her life and masterfully woven them into her art. Meryl Streep is not a distant, flawless legend. She is a living, breathing testament to human resilience, proving that it is possible for a person to be shattered multiple times and still find the strength not only to survive, but to shine brighter than ever before. Her journey shows us that true strength is not found in avoiding falls, but in the unwavering determination to get back up again, each time with more wisdom and a deeper understanding of the human heart. Have you ever loved someone enough to start over, even when your heart was still mending from a previous loss? Which of Meryl Streep's many roles has moved you the most, or made you feel seen? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments section below, because sometimes your story can be a source of light for someone else who is navigating their own journey. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next emotional story.